a little wet outside. Can't lie. Should put the wets on.
No.
I swear to
Nah.
God, somebody did Le Mans on FM7 like 2019, 2020, maybe on a keyboard and got into B lobby.
Hold on.
I swear to God.
That's crazy. Wait,
whoever said we should put on the wets, you should check the Sebring 12 chat right now.
Nah, guys, it's look.
There's
a light drizzle going on, guys.
See, I see some dirt going on. I think we need some rally tires. You know, we turn this race into a real race.
Does that count?
I see some grass on the track. We should put rally tires on, guys. It's the strategy.
There's a grass.
No, come on. If we're gonna be off-roading, you gotta put off-road tires on. Remember, this is a Forza game. Rally tires are useless.
Guys, I think
rally tires are useless.
Guys, we need drag tires. There's straightaways on the track. We need drag tires.
God, we need drag tires.
God, imagine not a TORA event, but just any event where everyone has to run drag tires. That would be hilarious.
I've done a series like that.
Pun.
What the fuck?
It was horrible.
Okay, why do people do this? It's not hard to just not click a button and leave. Fuck's sake.
Maybe he didn't feel welcome.
Well, too bad. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know what else he wants me to do. He should be in here, so I moved him in here, and then he left. So fuck me, I guess.
Who is it?
AFZ Al Carbon. He was in the
lobby
E Stint.
Carbon
doing this one, so I moved him in here.
Carbon apparently has been having like some issues. He was like the last person to join us last stint, and that's why we took so long to start the stint. I don't know what it is. Bro takes his sweet time. We start when he's ready, apparently. Just how it is.
Well, since I know he's in the lobby, and he is meant to be here, I'm going to give him a maximum of a further, let's say, 7 minutes to get in here. Otherwise, I'm going to boot him, and we'll be underway.
Damn.
Sorry, we have a strict schedule to keep to.
Why couldn't we have you? Why couldn't we have you last lobby? We could have started so much earlier.
Okay.
There's some people that are just there's connection issues we can't really control. Anyway, there he is. The person asking for me.
Where have you messaged Leroy? Where have you messaged Leroy on Discord? Sound.
As I said in the message to him, he's not in any trouble or anything. I just need to verify a distance to another car.
Yeah, sound.
Okay, that is everybody in, so once again, please check your fuel and tyres, set correctly as to what you want, as setting the wrong fuel and tyres is not a valid reason for a restart. I'm now going to ask you all turn your attention as well, at your earliest possibility, to the driver's briefing. A translated version into French, Portuguese and Spanish is also available if those are natively easier to read for you. Going through the driver's briefing, we will see that all drivers are required to pit 3 times per stint, and this must be done by 30 minutes remaining on the timer in the top right of the screen. I will give you a 10-minute warning as to when this point in time is, and you have to have all 3 mandatory stops done before then, or you risk disqualification. You are also not allowed to drive backwards at any point during the stint. If you get caught doing it, you will also be disqualified. You must keep to the pit entrance and exit lines at all times. There are pictures of them in the driver's briefing if you need a visual representation of where they are. For the pit entry, it is simple, just keep to the right-hand side of the double yellow lines for the entire length of the pit entrance. And for the pit exit, you must stay to the right of the dashed white line until the final cross-track solid white line. After passing this line, you can cross over back onto the track. For the stint start procedures, please do not move, do not speak, do not pause, do anything like that until I call out your name and your position. Beast, you are starting in pole position for the stint. You've done it the same last stint, so I'm presuming you know where the start position is.
Yeah.
Okay, just pull up there, and then everybody else pull up bumper to bumper behind Beast. Please, during this time, lightly make contact with another car to ensure you have working collisions. If you do not, please contact me in any way that you can, be it through text on Discord or voice, just any way, and it will get restarted. Once the clock hits 1 hour and 56 minutes remaining in the top right, the field will accelerate up to 45 miles an hour as quickly and safely as we can. We will stay in single file at 45 miles an hour, not leaving any big gaps at all or deliberately driving under the speed limit until we pass under the Gurney Bridge. Once again, there are pictures representing where this is in the driver's briefing if you need them. Once you pass under the bridge, you are allowed to speed up to racing speeds. Not when the leader Not when the car in front of you, not when any other car, but when your car passes under the bridge is when you can accelerate to racing speeds. Leroy has also messaged me, by the way, so I've sent my thanks his way.
He said he's got it there, mate. Sweet.
It was just a minor problem we had in another stint, so that will address that, and it will fix all of the distance issues. One final thing in the driver's briefing, track limits for the race and the entire stint will be Forza clean other than one spot. This is the final corner, turn 17 or Sunset Bend, where you are allowed to run all the way up to the inside wall on an area that Forza considers off track. This is the only area that you're allowed to do this. Do not go cutting any other part of the track. If anybody has any questions about the upcoming stint, please let me know now.
When Fortnite?
I didn't hear that, I'm going to be honest.
I should chat shit anyway, don't mean anything.
Just making sure.
You expect a serious comment from me, of all people?
Well, it's better to double check than be uncertain. That's
Been named
all the
after the
things
least
in the
serious.
briefing go over, and that is everybody readied up. So let's head on in. Once again, please do not move, do not speak, do not talk until I call out your name and your position. The only person that should be moving off the start is Beast. Once again, lightly make contact with another car to ensure you have collisions. If you don't, call out to me and we'll get restarted. First up, Beast. Second is Hirschi. I think that's how you say that. Third is Apex Kimmy.
That's interesting. My tyres haven't set.
Fourth, AMS Mirage. Well, that's not a restart reason, but...
Yeah, I'm on medium.
Fifth is myself. Sixth is LMP TVR. Then seventh is Skullbone. Eighth, LMP Canery. Ninth, AFZ Loken.
Hang on, I think I'm meant to be in Group 1.
10th is Rock Chalk. Who is that saying?
TVR.
What?
Yeah.
You are in... Is that Group 2?
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's fine. You're making the same amount of power as you should be. So...
I think I'm in the wrong group. It put me in the wrong group.
Okay.
Yeah, I selected Group 1.
Just to ensure then, I'm going to call a restart back out to event menu.
Oh, good. I love you. Thank you so much.
Sorry, boys.
Sorry, guys. I apologize.
Thank you.
I
thought
could
I
have
put
sworn I
really
put
hard.
Group
I guess
1, but
not.
apparently not. It was a great game.
I
Yeah, my name was red in the menu.
TVR
I
should
cannot
be
change
in
driver
1.
group.
Hold on. Okay, yes. Skyline, you should be in Group 3.
Yep. Thank you, sir. Thank you, mate.
You two were the only
I
ones...
don't know how Sir get out.
So, now that you've set yourself in the right one, everyone else looks to be in the correct one. Make sure you check your fuel and tires, Beast. And make sure you...
I don't think you should get to change them.
Let me just. Things don't really do much here. Right,
Okay, once you have done that, then let's get all readied back up. Just waiting
yeah, there we go.
for Loken. Ready up, please. This will have also fixed the collision issue if it was already active, so that is another upside.
Don't prey on it.
If it happens this time, before we get going, it is just a matter of the desync kicking in. I've never seen it persist through 2 starts yet, but then again, anything can happen in this game, so...
expect the unexpected.
You can expect the unexpected in this game, and you'll still be surprised, and not in a good way.
Now, just expect it for what it is. Actually,
Expect
let a 5
disappointment.
broken game.
Okay. Once again, don't move, speak, pause until I got your name and position. Beast, you're up first. Then up next is Hiroshi. Third is Apex Kimmy. Fourth, AMS Virage. Fifth is myself. Then sixth is LMPTVR. And seventh is Skullbone. Eighth is LMP Canery. Ninth, AFZ Loken. 10th is LMP Rockshop. 11th is RSR Flex. 12th is, I'm blind, ECH Dunny. 13th, Wolf Raven. 14th, RZX Jasani. 15th is Skyline Loaf. 16th, RD Foy. 17th is Breezy Season. You've lost someone, I think.
Gaming crashed.
Okay, that's another back out. Back to event menu.
Probably a good time to make sure that everyone's got their game on Imperial and Distance as well, while we're going through all the fucking bullshit.
That is a point. Once I get...
Oh, my game crashed now.
Okay.
That was useful.
Then I will also send one to Flex as well. In this time, if you haven't already, as TVR rightly pointed out to me, something I forgot, make sure you have set your interval to distance with the units on Imperial. To do this, go into the settings, gameplay and HUD, scroll down to mini leaderboard, make sure it is on, then show interval as distance, and units to Imperial.
We count for one lobby restart if, like, because of the fact that it's multiple for issues and not for actual on-track shit, right? Or do they count as actual restarts?
The first one didn't because there was a presumed lobby issue, because I know this game can sometimes just do that, change your group that you selected. The second one does count because it was a game crash for a driver. That's the general rule of thumb. If it's a lobby problem, or I fuck something up, then it usually doesn't count.
So we have one left, right, for when the race starts? Okay. They increased it? When?
It's always been 3, but as I said, the first one doesn't count because it's a lobby problem.
Fair enough.
That's my understanding of it. I will clarify that after the stint.
Flex, quick reminder to change your driver group. Because you're in the
I
hurricane.
won't reset your group.
For the two guys that have rejoined, make sure you double check your group. 4 is fine, then Flex, you'll need to go into whatever group you were supposed to be in with the cover.
3.
And then also you two, make sure you check your fuel and tires. Once you are readied up, I will take it that we're all good to go. Okay. Let's try this again.
Stint 6 is going to finish, like, what, 40 minutes after us?
Stint 6 doesn't start for another 80 minutes, so...
Oh, okay.
And that's if they get going on time as well, which they should, but yet to be seen. Hey. Same procedure as the last 2 times. Beast, you're up first. Beast, then second is Hirschi. Third is Kimmy. Fourth is Viraj. Fifth is myself. Sixth, TBR. Seventh, Skullbone. Then 8th, Canery. 9th, Loken. 10th, Rockchalk. 11th, Blacks. 12th, see it here, is Dunny. 13th, Wolfraven. 14th, Jasani. 15th, Skyline. 16th, Fawoi. 17th, Breezy. 18th, Queen Viva. 19th, AFZ Al Carbon. 20th, Vixenix. And 21st is Fluffball. Hey.
Just realised that the Porsche has like a point in the brakes where they clip if you turn the full direction.
Everyone, check your collisions right now because
they should be fine.
Okay.
We've already we've done 2 resets, so if they're a little bit wonky now, it is just because we're all parked still and there's a bit of desync remaining. Just one thing I will spot, GTs, there is nothing saying that you need to leave a gap, so take that as you will. You're only disadvantaging yourself if you leave one.
So does that mean I can be on top of Jasani right now? Like let me park my car on top of him?
As long as you're in the correct point, and you are not ahead of someone that you're not meant to be, then you can just be up against their bumper, but you must be in single file.
Basically, you can start like 20 to 50 feet earlier if you like are close to the prototypes.
You can basically be pushing the car in front of you, and as long as you're not speeding and in single file, you're fine.
Good to know. Okay, so let me get a ramp and put myself like directly on top of Jasani,
Just make
like on his
sure
roof.
you do it safely, and again, single file. Being on his roof is technically double file because it is 2 cars high.
Big Steve.
Just to clarify, is it as I enter the bridge or as I like leave?
It is once you enter it.
Enter, okay.
It is when your car, which you are the leader to be fair, but this goes for everyone, when your car passes under the bridge is when you can accelerate.
Yeah, someone disconnected.
Oh, Vic's crashed.
Okay.
Fuck's sake, man.
Right. Sorry, but that's another restart.
My life.
Back to event menu.
All right.
Oh my god, this
That
fucking
is now
game, bro. I
2
can't wait
of
to be
3.
fucking done.
We have
This
1
game
more
is
remaining.
awesome.
Yo, while we've got the time, I'm gonna go grab a quick
Holy
snack.
shit,
Jesus
what?
Christ. We have restarted 4 times. I'm getting myself a
Did that
snack.
happen to
Hold on.
anyone else?
We have not restarted 4 times.
I just tested.
We've attempted
collisions
to
there,
start. I think it was 4
and it
times.
just fucking dashboarded me as soon as I hit someone.
Oh god.
Holy shit.
Even the year
Right,
edition.
okay, just restart them again now. Jeez.
Is
Wait,
that this thing where it doesn't like
Have a
loads of
good
cars
donut.
piled in the same place?
It just like
It doesn't like
had
it,
a,
but
it just didn't like that.
we've already done 4 stints of doing that, so we can't change it now, otherwise it would be completely unfair to all the others.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying you can change it, but I don't know if it's like if they're all.
So basically,
Who
right, be
knows?
real careful on the start, boys, because now we only have 1 chance to fuck this up, so if we fuck it up once and then have to go again, that's it, boys.
Another invite, please.
I'm just going to jump in. We have 1 restart remaining. If we do that, and we go into that final start and somebody disconnects then, we will not be restarting per the guidelines. So...
Wait, if this game won Game of the Year 23, does that actually technically mean it won Game of the Year 2013? Because, I mean, that's when this game came out, so... Forza Motorsport 5.5.
It's actually
for the
5.4.
guys that rejoin,
Oh, yeah.
make sure you check your power handicap group and also your fuel and tyres.
Yeah,
Oh
me.
my god.
Right, gone to the right group. You absolutely.
I got a jam-filled donut. I'm recharged and ready to go. Oh, God. How many restart attempts do we have left?
One left.
One.
Okay.
Well,
Everyone,
I should
make sure you're-
clarify. It is one remaining for game crashes or disconnections. If it's a lobby issue, then that obviously doesn't count, as I previously stated.
Everyone, make sure your internets are on their best behavior.
You lied when you said that, and it was very funny.
Yeah.
No. My internet's on its best behavior. I know what you're talking about.
As he lags again.
Shut up! I'm gonna mute now.
Okay, I think we all know the procedure by now, so I'm not even going to bother saying it. I'll just go through the grid a little bit faster. As long as my eyes don't...
We go a minute earlier and not tell anyone.
No. That happened at Kyalami. The marshal got a stern talking to for doing it. I understand what he was doing. Because he's on my team and driving the same car as I am.
I think I remember that.
Cheater.
That was fun times.
You're affiliated with a cheater. Get out.
I wasn't driving with SFM during that Enduro, but I am for this one, so. Okay. Same as last time. First up is Beast. Second, Hiroshi. Third, Apex Kimmy. Fourth is Virage. Fifth, myself. Sixth, TVR. Seventh, Skullbone. Eighth is Canery. Ninth is Lokin. I'm going to take a pause quickly while I drive so I don't crash into anyone. 10th is Rock Chalk. 11th is Flex. Once again, I need to not crash into people. Then up next is Dunny. Then Wolfraven. Then Jasani. Then Skyline. Hawaii. Reezy. Queen Beaver. Al Carbon. Vixen X. And Fluffball. Okay. Thank you everybody for your patience, by the way.
Thank you for your patient hosting.
I've been through so much with the Forza franchise by this point that I'm just tired. I'm not even angry.
Why do you think I'm quitting?
I'm not angry. Just oh my god. Oh my god. English. Just disappointed. God damn it.
Then he just lagged in a different manner. Hello, I am Mr. John Microsoft here to present Racing Game of the Year edition. Here you go, broken game. Congratulations, 10 Motorsports.
I can't wait to be deafened by the BMW street now.
That's why I turned other cars down in the settings.
Yeah. I've
Wait,
turned
that's
them
a
down.
Setting?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
This
my
is
god,
on
God damn it.
PC.
Doing
It is
No,
on
I
Xbox.
gotta do it
the
then.
fucking car
After this
signs
race.
on anything above 50 is a hell on earth.
Yeah, 1 minute till the start.
If you guys think this BMW is loud, you should race against the Pro car, dude. That thing is insane. You hear it coming from a mile away for no
That
reason.
sounds... At least it makes sense that that
awful
thing's
about
loud.
BMW.
You know, it has like... It's a cool sounding car. At least the M4 is dog shit sounding. Not fun.
Sounds like something between a warthog and flatulence.
Better than all the other GT sounds files, at least. But still not good. Good luck. Have fun. Aya, cock and ball.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start moving. Remember, single file, 45 miles an hour, 72 kilometers. Accelerate when you pass under the bridge. Not with the leaders, not with anyone else, when you pass under it. There's more space at the edge of the road there, TVR, my apologies.
It's fine, that's racing, shit happens. Oh fuck, I'm in the wrong gear.
Start is official. That's unfortunate. late warning, but the first pass through of prototype traffic is happening now.
Holy shit, call me the traffic whisperer, I just fucking snuck.
chat's quiet then. Muted myself in Discord now though, so I can speak freely to you all if anyone's even here and wants to respond. Or tab into the game, there we go. side and choose. A reminder to GT traffic to please remain predictable and keep to your line. The prototypes will go around you. Do not swerve unnecessarily, just keep to the line that you are going. That should hopefully help.
Sorry, Rob, or whatever.
Sorry, Kimmy.
Discord because I think my microphone's just picking up a bunch of background noise. Apologies if it is, everybody, and you can hear it. I don't know what's been up with my audio recently. I think I need to reinstall broadcast again. Or just get a better microphone, which is also an option. God. Oh, fucking hell, this is getting unpleasant. Feel the fatigue setting in. Okay, good, tapped in. Plane. There it goes. That is not the line. nice double shift. Thanks, game. So it's up shift, not down shift.
Sorry, Raven, for the dive bomb.
Wolf Raven's death in Discord. Wolf Raven 24.
Fuck it hell.
Sorry. Sorry for waiting. That's my bad, bro. I wasn't trying to come to you. I was just trying to get this going.
Don't forget my nose.
Yeah, that's not me, man. Sorry.
No problem. This is excellent.
Yeah, I just misjudged it by like 2 meters. Sorry, cost you a position though.
sorry about the bump fluff. I apologize. I didn't realize. I overcooked my brakes a little bit there.
That's my condition. What the hell was that?
Sorry, it was a bit wild.
That's all it goes. I've had the same problems at that corner in this car.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie. Whoever keeps putting tires on the main track, can you please stop? Like, genuinely.
It's desync. Nobody's intentionally doing it.
Okay.
I had people complaining in qualifying sessions there were tyres on track, and I sat at that final corner for the whole session and nobody hit a wall, so... It's the same desync issues we face in Motorsport 7.
They work from the ground up to replicate them.
Exactly.
It's, if you play on like a big enough track, like Daytona is a good example, and you're like going down the back straight, and there's people in like entering turn 3, you can kind of notice it. When cars get a certain distance away from each other, the cars that are really far away from you will like jitter all over the track because it's trying to keep up with their inputs and doesn't know how to do that at a range apparently, so it just doesn't. It happens all the time, so a car on the opposite side of the track will basically be jittering even though they're not actually on your screen or anywhere near you, so it doesn't make any sense for them to be rendered. It just doesn't unrender them in any capacity. It unrenders the track, that's why we have issues like the track disappearing underneath people and shit, but
On
even
that
with
track rendering mode, It's always the actual driving surface that goes first, and not the out-of-track areas, which I find hilarious as well.
Yeah, the one bit you'd think would stay.
I have no track to drive on, but I can see the Ferris wheel in the distance.
Got something to dream about.
I almost just died. It's just a racing game of the year shenanigans, try to ignore what you can, although the tyres being in your way is just kind of fun game stuff. We all go through the same thing.
It wouldn't be as bad if the tyres didn't weigh 4 tons.
Yeah, no. On more fun game notes, I would have been in my car would have been in like B lobby had I not ran out of fuel by 0.2 laps before the finish line. But I put in 5 laps and I did 3, so.
Do jump in. This is your 10-minute warning that you must have 3 mandatory stops completed within the next 10 minutes. 3 mandatory stops must be done within the next 10 minutes.
Man, I love fucking my race up so much that I just am out of contention now.
I was gonna say, Skyline, thank you for coming back here. I was getting bored, starting to fall asleep.
You're welcome, anytime. Can you also run into a wall with me, man? That'd be nice.
I can almost run into you.
Tire.
to beat him out, though. Miles ahead. How did he do that? Pits are closed for mandatory stops. 10 minutes remaining in the stint.
It's insane how many times I've told myself I'm not in a Serato. Like, goddamn.
Sorry about that. I thought I gave you enough room there. At least you didn't die. I know what it felt like.
Don't worry, man. You're good. Don't worry. It was a racing incident, that's all.
I wish I could see into this corner. It'd be so great.
1 minute remaining. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full stop. Hey, yeah. Give me a moment to get my phone.
Oh, I didn't move my fingers. Ow. Oh, hands. Fucking hell.
So this is lobby E Stint 5. First up is TDR. What is your distance?
196.558.
196.558. Okay. Second I know is Virage. Virage, what is your distance to the leader in feet? I see I have a ping, so I'll go and check that quickly. If I can learn how to navigate Discord on my phone, that is. C.
Give it 9, and then
It is 7715 for Virage. Up next is Beast.
8972.
8972.
8,972.
Okay. Next up is myself, and for reasons of transparency, I am 10798. Then next up is Hirschi.
13105.
13105. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Who is in 6th?
Galbone.
Okay, and your distance to the leader?
15245.
15245. Okay. And then who is... Oh, that's not the ping. It is Kimmy in 7th with 15363. 63. Okay. Hold on. 63. Okay, who is after Kimmy?
I am Rock Chalker. And it is 108.175.
108.175. Okay. After Rock Chalk.
Sorry, my mic was muted. RZX Jason, 112.662.
12662.
Also, whatever that furry has, I want it. God damn.
Hold please. Who is after Jason?
Which one?
Sorry, say again.
Looking. You say.
Looking. What is your distance to leader?
1, 1, 2, 7, 8, 3.
112.783. Okay. Who is next after Loken?
RSR Flex.
Yeah.
113024.
113024. Okay. After Flex?
Me. 116.121.
116121.
Yes.
Okay. 1 second while I take your name. You are Foy, okay.
Yes.
Who is after Foy?
Queen.
Okay. Distance leader?
116359.
6359. Okay. Who is after Queen?
Skyline Loaf.
Skyline. Okay.
Distance is 116445.
116445. Okay. After Skyline?
Fluffball. 116626.
16626. There's a lot of you in that range, okay. And who is after Fluffball? Again, who is in the position behind Fluffball? Yeah, I know it has to be someone because I don't have all the results down.
Oh, fuck yes.
East has just been paused and passed.
Fluffball, LMP, Canary.
I don't think Canary speaks
It's in P15.
any English. I can.
Just
I'll see if he's posted his thing.
Maybe ask Raven, but maybe ask Raven what he is in front.
So it's Canary. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Fluffball, how far behind is Canary to you?
1812.
1812. Beast, I'm going to ask you leave the session quickly because you're in pause and you're moving ahead.
Sorry.
It's fine. I've already got your distance and you're not needed for the move. Okay.
No worries.
Who
Thank you.
is?
Thanks for
who is-
it.
Yeah, that's fine. Who's behind Canary?
Raven.
Okay, Wolf Raven.
guys.
121490.
121490. Okay, who is behind Wolf Raven?
124672.
124672. Let me just fix your name because it's autocorrected to Funny for some reason. Okay, who is after Dunny?
Our carbon. Distance to MP TBR is 126608.
26608. Okay. And is there anyone after Al Carbon?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your name?
Breezy Season.
Okay, and your distance to leader?
Distance to leader is 137631.
37631. Is there anyone behind you?
No, I don't think so. It shows Beast is behind me.
So you're the last on the position then, correct?
I believe so, yeah. There was somebody that DNF'd that was behind me, but...
Well, I can't get them. Okay, going one final time just to make sure, is there anybody that is not had their distance taken down at this stage? Now is your time to call out. Once. Twice. Okay, I'll take that as everybody with their distance collected. TVR, please move up to the next full mile marker. Do not exceed 197.000.
Okay.
And please call out when you are there.
Some I missed.
Is everyone other than TBR allowed to leave?
No.
Yes. Well, actually, hang on. I need TVR and Virage to stay.
Alright.
Everyone else can go.
TVR, did you mean to drive into the side of my car when you went by?
I went past slightly, hang on. Went past by 2 meters, god damn it. Alright, I'm at 197.
Okay, and Virage, what is your new distance to TVR? jump back over to Discord. 10048. 10048. Okay.
He's a cheater. He's gained 1 feet. It was 1.49.
All the, I mean, they'll be different between all of you. That is all the distances collected. Thank you, everybody, so much for racing. This will all be in your final stint because you can go into double 5 and 6. So, good luck to all the rest of your teams. Thank you for competing, and we will see you for Le Mans, which is up next in June.
Can't wait to retire.
Thanks for hosting with such enthusiasm.
Yeah, thank you.
I try and be enthusiastic with this game. It's hard sometimes.
Oh, we had fun.